I didn't get the 30-second countdown. There we go. The broadcast is live. Good morning, everybody. We had a little technical difficulty. The person that was coordinating our login, her internet crashed, and so she wasn't able to get online. So here we are. But welcome back to what is going to be the final class on The Science of Successful Living by Raymond Charles Barker. It's been a great book. I hope you enjoyed it. Today is January 4th. I can't believe we're already inside January now, so it's a new beginning. So it was interesting. Someone asked me over the weekend, what is the one thing that you could say you learned from 2020? And I really had to think about it because there's a whole list of things. I'm not sure about you, but there's a whole list of things that I was able to come up with. The thing that stuck to in my mind, though, was what you do speaks so loudly, I can't hear what you have to say. That is what I've learned the most. I've learned that what people do speaks so loudly, their actions speak so loudly that there are times that I can't hear what they say because they're not congruent. They're not the same. So one of the things I really learned from 2020 was, to listen to people and to say to myself, okay, it's one thing to talk, it's another thing to do it, right? And that actually leads well into this chapter that we're talking about today. Now, today there are no slides. I would have to literally print up the entire book into slide form, which I don't want to do, because this entire last chapter is just so filled with amazing awakenings and all these things that I just didn't want to limit myself to what was on a PowerPoint. So the last chapter, chapter 10, is called The Technique of Demonstration. Now, we're not talking about prayer, although I'm going to get into prayer a little bit and learning how to pray if people haven't figured out how to pray or how we pray in our teaching. But this is what's interesting. Here we go. So the technique of demonstration. We live in glass mental houses. Consciousness determines experience, and experience denotes consciousness. Too many people have verbally agreed to principles like the ones expressed in this book, but you would never know their spiritual beliefs from watching their experience. Yikes. All right. Mental glass houses. The thing that I've always taught, and you've probably heard me talk about it, is whatever's in your thoughtmosphere. It's like taking a space helmet from NASA that is just all glass, right? And you put it all around you, and all the things you think about become part of your thoughtmosphere, right? That mental glass houses. And because the universe is always listening to whatever it is going on in your mind. It's always tuned in. So it's like a glass house. It just sees right inside, and whatever you're thinking about is being magnified by this thoughtmosphere, this glass house, right? So it says we live in glass mental houses, which is perfectly accurate because we do. The universe is constantly listening to what I'm saying, and also the patterns of my thought, which gives them priority, all right? So it gives them priority because if I keep saying the same thing over and over, and I keep thinking the same thing over and over, I'm developing a pattern. And the universe is like, wait, this is really a pattern here. This is something that he needs to experience. He's going to experience it. Now, I have to make sure that what I'm putting out in my pattern is what I want to experience, not what I'm trying to avoid. So here we go. Too many people have verbally agreed to principles like the ones mentioned in this book, but you'd never know it. Yeah. I know a lot of people who've done a lot of studying in metaphysics. In fact, they spent years and careers in metaphysics. But you'd never know it because that you'd never see them happy, healthy, whole, complete. They experience great deals of poverty, scarcity, lack, limitation. So they're reading it. They're a good student. In fact, you could probably give them a test. They could, pass the test. But if your life doesn't reflect the teachings and what you're learning, you're just learning things and keeping them on file. You're not applying them. So it's important that we apply what we've learned over the past few weeks and what you've learned all over, your entire life learning about metaphysics. It's important that you apply it and do it and take the risk to do it. And let me explain that a little bit. Many times we don't want to take the risk. We don't want the risk involved with changing something. We talk about it and we spiritually prepare for it, But when it comes down to the actual rubber meeting the road, we're not prepared to pull the trigger and do something. We just say, no, if it's meant to be, it will present itself. No, if it's meant to be, it will present itself by you creating an opportunity for it to present itself. If you constantly think about things and teach or learn all this stuff, and in the back of your mind, you're going, yeah, that makes total sense. That makes total sense. But man, I'm never going to try. I'm not going to do that. Then it makes you can keep learning all you want, but your life isn't going to change. He goes on to say this. The ideas and their presentation satisfy their intellect, but they never give these ideas the emotional acceptance necessary for them to become subconscious patterns of action. Jesus said that his listeners could be divided into two types, the hearers and the doers. Modern metaphysical churches have both in their congregations, despite the fact that our science is one of action, production, and result. This is not at all alarming, for the greater number do demonstrate these truths, and their lives give evidence to that convincing. All right? So let's unpack this. The ideas some people have, they love to be able to share them, and people go, oh my gosh, you're so wise and you're so smart. What a great idea. Okay, but the problem is they didn't apply them. No, a lot of people do. And you know the people that do because their life is a reflection of things. Now, that's not to say bad things don't happen and challenges don't pop up in their life. I'm not saying that. We can't live a life of Pollyanna where we just think everything's going to turn out okay. We have to, where we're not going to experience any difficulties. That's just not real. We all have difficulties, and difficulties pop up. Interestingly enough, difficulties pop up in my experience with other people that have an impact on me. And suddenly it's happening to them, but now I allow it to take residence within me. And now it becomes our problem, not just their problem. Does that make sense? Have you ever had that before? All right, he goes on to say this. What is a demonstration? So what is it? We talk about the techniques of demonstration. It is a tangible result of a constructive change of consciousness on a spiritual premise. It is one which would not happen under normal conditions through normal channels. Metaphysicians expect the impossible and the unusual to happen. When told of a phenomenal recovery of health, they are not excited because to the right-thinking person, it is normal to have such a result. When a person in business describes an unusual change which brings a benefit to that person's business, a change which would normally not take place, it's a demonstration. So in your life, when you've seen the needle move in any given direction, that's a change. That's a demonstration. And allow yourself to recognize those things and don't call them out as a coincidence. Don't call them out as some exception to the rule. Become aware of them and have a level of expectancy. We talked about this. Have a level of expectancy that it will continue to come into your life, that you will continue to experience those things. When you have that level of expectancy, you're on your way because the universe is going to keep bringing forth to you opportunities to demonstrate this thing. I can just tell you my personal confession in this, my personal testimony is many times Trey and I have been talking about doing something or going someplace or purchasing an item. And out of the clear blue, a path opens up and we walk down it. And next thing you know, we're experiencing the demonstration of that which we were seeking. That's why I always say, whatever you are seeking is seeking you. If you're seeking health, it is seeking you. If you're seeking success in a business or a new opportunity to be creative, it is seeking you. The universe is always seeking to express and expand by means of you. So whenever one begins that process, the doors will begin to open, things will begin to happen, and those changes will occur, which are real demonstrations. Those are demonstrations. It doesn't have to be something off the chart. It can be, look, when I lose something and I find it, to me, that's a demonstration, right? When I misplace something, we can't say when I lose something because nothing's ever lost. And the universe always knows where it is. Well, sometimes it's elusive to me. I think that line is crazy, right? Sometimes I lose things. And when I find them, I'm like, oh, that's a demonstration because I just didn't panic. I'm like, okay, the universe knows where it is. And it is on, I am finding, it is finding me. So, and then when it happens, I'm like, okay, good. I don't make a big deal about it and share it with everybody. I don't post it on Facebook or post it on social media. Oh my gosh, I did this. No, because I want it to feel like a normal occurrence in my life. Moving on. You have a right to expect results from your spiritual thinking. You have a right to claim you're good. Your spiritual thinking changes you. It doesn't change the world. It doesn't change other people. It changes you. And that's all that needs to be changed. Once you have changed, the results of this change appear in your circumstances. Others will see that your knowledge of God and your right understanding of yourself as the action of God bring to pass definite improvement. So you have a right to expect change in your life. You have a right to expect the good the universe has to offer. It is not a negotiable. Many people spend a lot of time negotiating with the universe, with God, with Jesus, with whomever, right? It has nothing to do with negotiating your good. You are expected to be an exemplary demonstration of spirit in action. That's the expectation. I was brought here into this universe, just like you, so that we will be able to experience these incredible things. All right, moving on. The mind of God awaits your recognition, and the power of God awaits your direction. Listen to that. The mind of God awaits your recognition. What's the first step in prayer? The one we teach? First step, recognition. God and absolutely nothing else. There isn't a God in Satan. There isn't a God in devil. There isn't a God for good and a God for evil. No, there's one power in the universe. You can call it whatever you want to call it. I love Daniel Nahmod because he says, he has a song called One Power. Call it God, call it Spirit, call it Jesus, call it Lord, call it Beulah, Baha'u'llah, Angel's Wings or Heaven Door. It's Muhammad, it's your mind, it's your soul, it's your sign, it's the universe, it's wisdom, it's Mother Earth and Father Time. All of those things, it's nature, it's all those things. So whatever you identify with as that presence, that power that creates, once one has that recognition, that power is waiting for direction. It's waiting for me to give it direction. I have to make sure I'm really clear in my directions. I'm not like, one of those GPS units that can say, okay, point A, point B, this is it. I always, and I'm going to admit this to you because I have a feeling someone in listening experiences this. I have a feeling that many times I'm always like, okay, well, what if I turned left here and then turned right there and then make my own way, even though the universe is trying to give me a clear path? I'm trying to overthink it and overstep the universe's direction. I'm always trying to negate it by going, yeah, but I think I have a better idea. I have a better idea than the GPS. I'm going to go a different way. Next thing you know, I end up on a dead end in some street, at some port somewhere, right? Looking at water going, wait, what? So it's happened to me so many times when I was working in Los Angeles. I would always think of a better way. And even though I would ignore the wisdom of the GPS, and I would think, oh, no, this is where I go. This is what I do. And I end up in some, back alley somewhere, totally lost. Anyway, moving on. You need neither repentance nor salvation to make your demonstration. You do need decision, acceptance, and continued right thinking. You don't need to pay for your sins. You probably already did. My guess is any guilt or anything that you're experiencing, that's a holdover, right? It's the holdover from those experiences. It's not that we have to experience those things in order to move into our good, right? All right. It says you do need decision, acceptance, and continued right thinking. So it requires us, the universe requires us to have that universal direct intention, right? The intention, make a decision, accept it as your good, and then take action for it, continued right action. You need to take a definite stand and then not waver from that premise that the action of mind is bringing to fruition your idea. It takes mental stamina to practice metaphysics. The science is not for the half-hearted. It demands the full attention and use of the mind and emotions. There is no place for discouragement here. So moving into this idea, right? Once you decide, there is no plan B. You keep on plan A. If you ever needed to make a different plan, the universe would put it in front of you, and that option would present itself at the time that it needed to be there. Only court that idea that you want to experience. Only keep it in your consciousness. Don't keep keeping all the alternative plans going. Keep one idea, match it, right? Someone just put eager newcomer. All things are attached to your thoughts. Absolutely. Everything is attached to my thoughts. Everything is a demonstration of my thoughts. All thoughts manifest. That's another part of it, right? Another one, Magnificent Stranger says, match the frequency of the reality you want and cannot help but get that reality. Einstein said that, yeah, whatever you match, whatever vibration or frequency you're matching with, just had that conversation with someone today because this person was really vibrating on a on a real negative level, right? On a real negative level. And I kept thinking, you wonder why this person is always feeling like bad things are happening. They've matched their frequency. They have this frequency and this vibration, and it's being matched by the universe in terms of experience. Amazing, huh? Continuing on. Your goal must be clear, and you must want what you want with ardor, vitality, and authority. There is no place in spiritual understanding for wishful thinking. The infinite mind acts with an exactness, and wishful thinking can produce only vaporous nothings. The seed planted in consciousness must, by the law of mind, bring forth its own kind. Sweetness and light produce little of any value, right? They are a dodge, an escape, and a delusion. Beware of people who are always sweet and kind. Hey, there we go. I love Raymond Charles Barker, because sometimes he speaks the truth. Here we go. There is something being covered up in the unpleasant depths of their subconscious. That is why piety must be overcome before any attempt is made to practice spiritual mind techniques. Be careful of those people that are always, on that level, because many times that's a mask that they put in front of you so you don't see what's really going on. And so don't mistake that for a demonstration if it's really not sincere and legitimate and authentic. Many people put on that air because they don't want people to really know what's going on. It's covering something up. So you have to put away that spiritual righteousness, right? And just allow yourself to be who you are. What's interesting, excuse me. What's interesting, and I find really interesting, is my whole ministry for the past, gazillion years has been based on, and a lot of it has been based on, my faults. Because I figure if I can recognize them and I can come up with spiritual solutions to them, and I can practice those and share those with you, then other people who are experiencing the same thing will resonate with that vibration. They'll go, oh, wait a minute, I've been vibrating at this level of, what's going on in the universe is upsetting me. Okay, how can I remedy that? And then we come up with a spiritual solution together. And then, again, the next week, something else is rattling us and something else pops up and we try to deal with it spiritually. My entire ministry has been based on taking away the facade of that thing, and you've seen the raw stuff that happens, right? And we deal with it on a level that we can deal with it. All right, moving right along. I got a lot to cover. Scientific treatment is actually a battle of the wits in the in the consciousness of the one praying. It is making fear unreal and all doubts to flee. It is a mental argument to arrive at the complete conclusion that what you want exits in the now, for you will appear at once through spiritual action on the part of the universal subconscious mind. So let me unpack that, all right? Here we go. A prayer. Now we're going to get into prayer. We don't pray, and this is the way I teach this. I'm a little bit different than Raymond, but I teach it this way. We never pray anything out. You don't pray people out. You don't pray situations out. You don't pray sickness out. You don't pray scarcity or limitation out. You don't pray conflict out. What you do is pray the right stuff in, and when your consciousness accepts that as yours, then that vibration, that frequency, you begin, and through the law of attraction, you begin to attract experiences which match your new level of acceptance. So I don't need to pray someone out of my life. I need to pray the right people in. When the right people come in, I've got no time for that other person. And that person exits. And I give them safe passage and a safe exit. I don't need to bludgeon them on the way out. You messed up my life. You screwed me up. No, just bless them as they go. Shared it again the other day. Somebody got all upset about someone leaving their life. I said, some people bless us by coming, and some people bless us by going. And some people I just have to bless go. All right? So you don't pray people out. You don't pray sickness out. You pray health in. When we get a prayer request online, and if it's funny because you can tell how people are positioning themselves in the prayer. They beseech and they beg and they wish and they hope. They don't know. They don't know that what is available to them is their perfect health, right? So it calls into question. You have to call in the question for yourself. Am I always looking to get rid of something, or am I looking to get something, pray something in? I need to pray it in so that the other things leave. All right, moving right along. All right, you wrestle with your own states of consciousness in the same agility and ability that professional wrestlers have to have in their bodies. For we wrestle not against the flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers against the rulers of the darkness of the world. That's in Ephesians. So I love that quote. We wrestle not against the flesh and blood, but we wrestle against principalities, against powers. We wrestle against our mind. That's what we wrestle against, right? The principalities of mind are your negative certainties, right? Some of us have negative certainties. In fact, a lot of people do. They've had this foregone conclusion that I'm always getting screwed. Universe is I'm always at the wrong place at the wrong time. What's that old joke? I can't remember, something about sailing away, and I'm always at the dock looking at my goods sailing away. There's a belief that they're always missing the mark. Of course, that's a vibration of frequency, and we attract experiences so that it supports the idea that I'm always missing the mark. All right. The rulers of darkness are your subconscious beliefs and the false authority of evil and in any manifold and of its manifold phases. These must be attacked with strong denials of their existence. All right. He comes up with a prayer. Now he prays with the 7 steps, which is one of them is denial, which is acknowledging the problem, then denying it, then acknowledging the good in it again. All right. That's not my thing, but I'm going to share this with you because I think these words are very powerful, right? I now direct the living spirit within me to bring past this demonstration. I know exactly what I want, and I authorize my subconscious mind to act as a law to make it manifest right now. This prayer is the word of the Spirit, and it now destroys from my subconscious every negative pattern, belief, or opinion that is opposite to the thing I want. The perfect action of the infinite mind in me now obliterates all of my self-accepted principalities, powers, and false patterns. I am cleansed of all unbelief, and the Spirit now has full sway in my consciousness. There is nothing in me to oppose or delay this demonstration. All channels are cleared and all doors are open. Perfect action is now taking place, and what I want, I have. Great prayer, page 136 of the book, if you have it. If not, rewind on after this thing is uploaded on YouTube. Just go back and listen to it again. Listen to it often. If you have to go through that phase of denial, then by all means, hit it up, make it happen. Next thing, the above is a good mental cleansing agent. It should be spoken aloud with authority daily. It will baptize your consciousness and give the idea you want demonstrated a clear road to fulfillment, right? So when we do this, we clear the pathway of our consciousness. We allow that stuff that we're experiencing to just say, move out, right? Get out. It's already out. Put down the new road, put down the new path in front of me. It's like a big, cement mixer that's right in front of you, rolling down that new road right in front of you for you to walk. Each time doubt or fear begins in your thinking, do this prayer right over again. You may need to speak such words many times a day in order to allay your suspicions of failure. If you can keep your consciousness free of your own negatives, the law of mind can demonstrate anything. Let me rewind that point. Ready? If you can keep your consciousness free of your own negatives, the law of mind can demonstrate anything. It's up to you and the mental discipline you do. On these 2 factors rests the responsibility for demonstration. So you're not demonstrating. You have to really ask yourself, what is really going on in my mind? Peel away these layers. One thing I can tell you, though, in this whole 2020 pandemic, riots, questioning, conflict, politics, the whole experience of 2020 and everything that it brought to us. It's remarkable how I can look back even now and see that there is an enlightened feeling, right? I have this enlightened feeling of awakening to certain things and certain people and certain ideas and attitudes. And it's really been a clarifying experience for me. It's given me the ability to look at myself and to question things that I've never really looked at before, and to ask myself some deep-rooted spiritual questions about my own being, my own ethics and morality and all those things. And it's like, you have to look at all of those things in yourself. And it's been a great demonstration of experience this past 2020. Now, however 2021 unfolds, I can't wait to see it happen, because those people who have been looking at this process and have been examining this process, they certainly have this opportunity to approach life with a different attitude. And I hope they do so. Moving on. Think of your consciousness as a mental gymnasium in which you prove your strength, develop your spiritual muscles, and overcome opponents. The opposite of what you want is the opponent to be destroyed. You are mentally wrestling this false idea and proving your positive spiritual belief to be victorious. Yay. Each time you treat yourself, each time you pray for yourself, you are gaining over this opposite. You maintain spiritual vigilance to make certain that the negative doesn't shyly attack you when you are off guard. You make certain that you are always in control over your situation. Finally, the opponent gives up and the victory is yours. By your strong denials of the things you don't want, they are negated and made ineffective in your subconscious. So he's talking about the denial thing. And I'm going to give him some press here because that, for some people, that works for them. They like the idea of overcoming and battling and debating themselves. But I say this, once you do that, you better get out of it. You can't stay there really quick because else you create a vibration and a pattern of that analysis and that vibration and pattern of constantly looking at it, analyzing it, redoing it, regurgitating it, telling the story over and over again. That practice continues to keep it alive in your life and you don't want it anymore. So done. Done, right? Next one. Practicing metaphysicians work in their mind as a noted scientist works in a laboratory. They know what to do and they know that the already existing laws of life will work for them to bring to pass their accomplishment. A prayer doesn't cause something to happen miraculously. A prayer establishes a cause in the law which produces it. There is no guesswork in scientific prayer. There is an exactness as precise as the required to be a chemist or a physicist. The scientist doesn't plead with the laws of science to accomplish a desired feat. Neither do metaphysicians plead with the Lord to give them a demonstration. They act with the laws of spiritual science and the result is certain. This point cannot be too strongly emphasized. They act in accordance with laws of spiritual science and the results are certain. A chemist, a scientist doesn't plead for in the middle of experience for gravity to work. They know it's going to work. They don't plead with a chemical to do what the chemical does. They don't say, okay, now I want you to do that. No, they know what it does. And the same thing happens in the science of our minds. The same universe responds the same way with an exactness, right? To many, this technique seems irreligious, but it is not. It is the probable method that Jesus used. The results of using this method in the past 100 years has been so great that they command the respect of any science or engineer or any sincere researcher. All manner of sickness has been healed. Every known type of problem has been solved. You may ask if there are any failures. There have been few in the comparison to the successes. Like any other science, the element of failure is the human element. The manufacturer can produce a perfect automobile, but there's no way of knowing what the driver will do with it. Oh, man, that makes me responsible for my own stuff. Don't you hate that? All right. When people do not make their demonstrations, it's difficult to know at what point their consciousness gave more power to the idea they were battling than the idea they were trying to manifest. Somewhere, though, this happened or there wouldn't have been a failure. Yeah. I think many times when I've been looking to demonstrate something in my life and it doesn't happen quick enough, I, quote, throw in the towel. That's it. I got to get a new idea. This is never going to come to pass, right? Well, I just killed it. You know, it takes the universe a logical and sequential time for things to unfold, right? We know this. So, and many times it's taking too damn long for me. Hurry up, God. Why is this taking so long? I'm just, and then I throw in the towel. I'm like, that's it. Plan B. So I always wonder, I can't really wonder why plan A was abandoned or when that happened, but I'm always the one that knocks it. I'm the one who does that. Often it is almost impossible for people to realize that they have what they want as long as it is good. They have in their subconscious minds the fixed ideas for that some reason God doesn't want them to have this particular form of good they would like. They think of their having it as impossible, so this deep-seated pattern affects their facility in using prayer effectively. Let me back up. Often it's almost impossible for people to realize that they can have what they want as long as it is good. They have in their subconscious minds the fixed idea that for some reason God doesn't want to have them. I don't know why I can't find that perfect relationship. It's elusive. I guess God just wants, I'm meant to be single. God just wants me to be single. I hear that. I'm just not meant to feel good every day. I'm meant to struggle with my health. I've done everything I could think of, and it's just, I guess it's God's will that I experience these illnesses and these diseases. No, my mental acceptance just accepted all of that, right? All right. I'm going to skip through this chapter, this other one, because I want to make sure I get to where I need to go, or else I'm going to be teaching this next week again, which is okay too. Okay. This next paragraph. Okay, I'll just have to use it. There is a quote from the Bible, from Ephesians 6:13, wherefore take unto you the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all to stand. What does that say? To stand in the midst of human adversity and deny the problem and affirm the spiritual pattern of its opposite is not easy, but it has to be done. The withstanding of the evil day is to hold fast to your claim that God is omnipotent and that evil is unreal and cannot endure in the experience of the right-minded person. The whole armor of God is your divine protection when you dictate your thinking to the answer and not the question. When you dedicate it. All of the affirmative process of life move into action when a spiritually determined mind declares the truth. So, evil, wrong, whatever you want to call it, however you want to call it, cannot continue to be experienced unless someone is there to experience it. And I have to give my permission for it to continue to be experienced in my life. That doesn't mean that bad things won't happen. Things do happen. And my reaction is what it is. But it is up to me to either hold it or release it. And many times, the ego or the hurt feelings or emotions I hold on to, and that prohibits me from moving on to the next thing. That idea of clenching my fist instead of opening up to the release is it's holding me back. So in the midst of chaos, one has to be able to see and clearly continue to affirm the good. And sometimes I get it. It's a challenge because sometimes you think, I just kill you. I can't do this anymore, right? Especially this past 9 months, 10 months. You just think, oh my gosh, I'm just so burned out on doing all these things and I can't. Well, that's not that I can't. It's just that I don't want to. Not that I can't. I can do whatever I want, but I won't, right? That's the whole difference. It's the can't and the won't. When you're saying I can't, really you're saying I won't. So we can do things, right? We can hold that idea in the midst of adversity. This science is not for the timid. It is for the daring. The first 50 years of Christianity were not for the timid. Only brave men and women could take the faith and hold to it. The early Christians braved death, while those who practice this message do not. Yet, it takes spiritual courage to change your mind and to keep it changed. The only lions to devour you are your own misconceptions of God and of humanity. But these are sufficient to make your life drab. Daniel in the lion's den faced them and looked upward. Face your negatives and then lift your consciousness to the mind in which there is no problem to be solved, no person to be pacified, and no debt to be paid. God knows you aright, even though you may not know yourself aright. The universe believes in you, appreciates you, and gives its all to you. I don't need to go back through that. Christianity was founded on the demonstration, not on theology, right? The followers of Jesus saw the works of his consciousness. They saw diseases conquered, hunger fed, and debts paid. They believed in him because of the works he did. They listened to his teachings of life, but they were more impressed by his actions than his ideas. The metaphysical movement makes no claim to correct theology. In fact, it has none. It does say to all who will listen that demonstration are more important than theories. A healed body is more important than the doctrine which may have produced it or may have hindered it. To chronic worriers, a clear freedom from this problem is greater than whether they believe in a Trinity or not. Wow, man. Wow, listen to this. And maybe I guess that comes, maybe when I said that, what you do speaks so loudly, I can't hear what you say. When they were looking back at Christianity and the teachings of Jesus, it wasn't so much what he said, it's what he did, right? And he was a great example, the greatest example, I believe, in demonstrating a consciousness of love, of non-judgmentalism, of acceptance, of health and vibrancy, and all those things. He had within him an unparalleled, unchallenged idea of goodness, that God is good, and all of us are meant to experience that. So it wasn't this, it was the fact that he did it. You could see his works in what he did. And so it transcended the words. So, and the same thing happens with us. What I want is people to transcend the words that are being used and just do it, and then come back and share with me their demonstrations. You're like, you know what? Oh my God, thank you. This helped me so much. That's the kind of stuff I love to hear. I love to get emails from people who entered into our center years ago or have been watching us online. And it said, when I came onto this, I was a broken person, and this was that going on, and that was going on. And since I've come to study these things and listen to you and apply them, my life has changed as a result. I love those things. I love getting those. They mean so much to me. That means that what we're doing here is real and tangible. I love that. All right. The action of God is instantly available to you. It requires nothing but your recognition of it. The power is uninterested in your past and patterns which have caused your present experience. The universe doesn't care what you did. It's already done. It's history. The universe only cares what you're doing now and moving forward, and what's going up here that's going to create your forward, right? That's what the universe cares about. We've all done things in the past we're not exactly proud of, right? We've all done things that we've regretted. We've all paid for our sins, our mistakes, our errors, and some people will continue to spiritually flog themselves with all of their problems because in their mind, they can't move on. So it's like, oh, I let myself down, and it's a mess. Look, the universe doesn't care about your past. It doesn't care about the patterns of your past. It only cares about what's in your thought atmosphere right now, today, right? The action of God, I already said that. Infinity pervades the finite with its ever-expanding action of life. It also asks questions and plays no favorites. Everybody is the same. You are in the midst of a beckoning mind which offers its ideas to you, but you cannot believe their opposite and demonstrate them. Straight, clear thinking is the road that leads to what you want. The detours offer themselves with interest, but don't apply any of them. Look, don't allow yourself to be detoured. Actually, I'm going to say this. Actually, I'm going to reframe that. Many times life, you're on a detour. The road before you, wherever, even when you come up on traffic and it says you're planning to go somewhere, and the next thing you know, you're like, detour, this road is closed. Things like that happen all the time in life, right? You experience those things all the time in life. The question is, when I get the detour, am I like, oh, I'm not meant to go there. I'm not meant to be there. No. And then you abandon your trip? No, you don't abandon your trip. You take the trip around, whatever it is, you go around it. Right? It's like water running down the mountain. It sees a big rock, or it runs into a big rock. It creates its own path around it. It doesn't say, hey, rock, move. You're in my way. I'm mad at you as hell. And start honking its horn. No, it moves around. So when you get detoured in life, just know that you're being detoured, and it's okay. You're going to get right back on your path. Only if you think you are. Now, if you think that the detour is taking you to hell and back, and then you've accepted that this is your path, oh my gosh, I'm just not meant to do this, then you will be on a lifelong detour. You will have created it. All right, here we go. Oh my gosh, we're running out of time. I love this. Worry is often pleasant. It is a convenient way of not having to meet the problem of the instant. By worrying about what may happen, you do not need to act in the now. It is a delaying action invented by the human mind to keep the error present. Be sure that you do not use worry as an escape from demonstrating the truth. As the infinite works neither in the past nor in the future, but in the now, you have to do likewise. Worry today is trouble tomorrow, and trouble tomorrow is cause for more worry. It is a vicious circle that ensnares most people, and yet people don't know it. One of the best paragraphs in this book, one of the best lines. Worry today is trouble tomorrow, and trouble tomorrow is cause for more worry. It's a vicious cycle. What you worry about, you bring about. Why? Because it's in your mental glass house. Above and beyond the human mind is the divine intelligence that knows no evil, thinks no evil, and perceives no evil. As you link your mind with this higher concept of demonstrations appear, and your heaven is at hand, right? We know this to be true. Guess what? I'm coming up on it. Yay! We're going to make it. To those who know this truth, there are no boundaries to their creative action. Isaiah could stand in the midst of the exiled Jews and say, "Look unto Zion," because he knew that if he could get them to think of Jerusalem instead of their exile, they would return. Return they did, for his counsel was taken, and as a result, the demonstration was made. Like these people of olden times, look at what you want. Talk in terms of what you want. Consistently believe that what you want is now taking place through the action of the law of the Spirit. Never admit to defeat to another or to yourself. Hold fast to the deep conviction that God honors your thought and acts upon it. Walk mentally around the Jericho of your problems and know the walls will fall. Stand as Jesus did before the cross of your problem and know that it has neither power nor authority. It is nothing but two pieces of wood, and it cannot hurt you, destroy you, nor confuse you. Knowing that you are resurrected out of all problems, all unhappiness and fear. In you, the power of accomplishment is unlimited, but it must have free and open channels through which to work. You alone can clog or clear the channels of consciousness. Blame no one else. You stand at the door of your mind and you determine what goes on and within it. To say that others cause your problem is to proclaim your own ignorance. To say the world conditions hold you to bondage is to admit defeat. The universe knows your forward right action. It doesn't know your own unconsciously accepted patterns of defeat. When you know your unconquerable self and soul, you know what God knows about you. The power of mind and emotion is the power of God. It is the only power there is and has ever been or will ever be. It's your power right now. It requires no special dispensation nor any particular religious belief. It is given to all who use it. You can demonstrate through your knowledge of the power of God. You can move the mountains of your own mental inertia. You can have health, happiness, peace of mind, and unfrustrated activity. You can have love with all of its blessings. To you, these are normal and right. If others believe in sickness, poverty, old age, and limitation, it is none of your business. Your business is to know God aright and to prove in your body and world that what truth is. All else is unimportant and is not worthy of your attention. Demonstrate what you want. Don't talk yourself out of your good, nor permit anyone else to do that either. There are some basic rules of scientific prayer, and he lists them out right here. I'm going to go through them briefly. All right. First of all, we acknowledge that there's only one presence, one power, one universal energy intelligence, and that we are one of it. We are its demonstration. It is in us, as us, and through us. And then the third step of prayer, we don't pray anything out. We pray the right stuff in. So we affirm our good. I now accept for myself perfect health. I now accept right relationships. There is only God and one power, and I am one with God in that power. And now I declare my good into that universe. I want you to go back. If you haven't done so, there's an excellent workshop on our website under the tab of prayer, and it says prayer workshop. Go there. Take some time. It's going to take some time to learn how to pray. But prayer is essential in this process. All right. It requires all of us to reset our ideas of what prayer used to be in our old churches and our old synagogues. It makes us look at this movement of energy and the vibration, the frequency, all the things we talk about. It brings it together in a way that will allow you to keep your subconscious mind overwhelmed with the idea of success and not failures. All right. Here we go. I'm going to continue on. All the good you want awaits your recognition and demand upon it. Having done all, stand. Right? I always say stand and authorize your experience. Having placed your demand in the subconscious, stand firm in your faith and do not waver. You have put on the whole armor of right thinking, and the negatives cannot prevail against your consciousness. You are as an island set in the midst of the ocean of mind. You are a free agent in an unconditioned power, presence, and life. You are the beloved of the infinite spirit, for through you it reveals all that it is. Last two paragraphs, guys. It's been a great 10 weeks. Stand in this revelation, authorize your experience. That's where I get that. Heaven is the normal atmosphere of those who know that their perfect place in the divine plan of being. Come forth from the hells of your mistakes and abide in that pure consciousness of right knowing of truth. Be true to the inner person made in the image and likeness of all that life is. This inner spirit guides you into greatness. It leads you from the petty to the threshold of the larger scene. It offers the heavenly vista of unexplored possibilities. It bids you remember that you are the creation of the living God. Like Jesus, you can say, to this end I was born, and for this cause I came into the world, that I should bear witness unto the truth. Everyone that is of this truth will hear my voice. He talks a lot about Jesus the teacher. You know, Raymond Charles Barker had a lot to say about the Bible and Jesus and the teachings of Christianity. He actually, he weaves it in and out of his teaching a lot. It shines unto the light, it shines as a light unto all people. Oh, hang on. You need never apologize for your spiritual understanding. And I'm going to add, or successes. It shines as a light unto all people. It is healing for those who think rightly. It is a way for those who seek a spiritual technique of life. You are the bearer of glad tidings to your world. Spread them abroad with power and love. Be the person that God intended you to be. That is the victorious attitude of the metaphysician. Don't apologize for your successes. Don't try to hide them. Just know that the universe has always wanted you to experience those things. And you've done the right mental work and the work, right? The actual work to get it done. You've done the mental work and the physical work, the emotional work, the spiritual work, the financial work, whatever it is. You set it in motion. You do the work. You demonstrate it. Don't be ashamed of it. In fact, share with people how you did it. I read this book. I saw this guy on this YouTube thing talking about this science of successful living and creating a better life for myself. And I was tired of feeling sorry for myself at a time when the whole world was, stopped up and clogged up and messed up. I took this opportunity to learn something, to create something new, to learn something that can allow me to expand and express when all this is continuing to go on and there's a bigger, greater life and a larger scene to walk into when this is all over. It's been quite an awakened process. Become one of those people, not a person who just hears or learns, but someone who does. Become a doer. Take the actions necessary to create this. I'm so glad that you joined me today. We continue to have nonstop 10 o'clock services every single day. We are known for that now. We have put on so many of those, coming up to 300. 300 services. Your center has put on 300 services. We'd really like your support to continue to keep doing what we're doing. And also, we're starting to begin to have conversations about what might happen when we reopen and what a reopening process might look like and what it might entail. I think you're going to hear some new classes coming up, and they're going to be classes that will be offered not at 10 o'clock. They'll be offered at a different time. And because of that, they're going to be classes that are going to be more in depth, more interactive. People will log in and ask questions, and you'll actually have an instructor. So expect those things to start popping up, and you can take advantage of those as well. David, thank you for checking in with me. And I want to thank everybody for coming in and joining us today. Continue to support the center so we can continue to support you. Have a great week. It's the first full week of January. And from what I understand, the next couple of days could be really, really interesting. Stay tuned. Keep your attitude right. Keep your mental thought atmosphere in order. Have a great day, everybody. Namaste. Bye-bye.